Support WrestleTalk!
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by
Chopper Pequenell. Hi, that's me.
And you might notice this is a little different to normal. We're trying out something new, so please let us know what you think of this new format in the comments down below. Jeff Hardy was, of course, arrested last night for driving while his license was cancelled / suspended / revoked. He had a DUI with alcohol and drugs. This is his third offence in 10 years. And now we've had not our first statement from AEW, but a statement from Matt Hardy, his brother. He's tweeted this out that says, "It was disheartening to hear the news about my brother yesterday. Recovery isn't a linear process, and I'll continue doing whatever I can to help my brother be healthy. Being healthy and well is the most important thing for Jeff, his wife, his children, and our family at this time."
I think that's a really lovely sentiment of just, well wishes with that, but it's really difficult, as Luke and I mentioned on the Raw podcast earlier today as well. It's really hard to be a Jeff Hardy fan in this because it seems to be a continuing cycle time and time again of this stuff cropping up, and it's so difficult when someone is struggling with addiction. Not an easy process. Stuff like this is really difficult to continue to just say let's go to rehab, let's get well again, when these demons keep coming back for Jeff time and time again.
I feel like no one is critiquing the idea of addiction.
Not at all.
It's the idea of getting in a car.
Yes.
Ubers, man.
Yeah.
There's
they
Ubers
exist.
everywhere these days.
Yeah.
For this, you've got to feel for Matt Hardy in this. He's the guy who presumably vouched for his brother when he left WWE in weird circumstances.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, Jeff just let his contract run out. No, he sort of re-signed a few months before, just walked out of a match and was behaving erratically. That was the quote from the time. And then refused rehab. WWE then did say, hey, Jeff, do you want to come back to the Hall of Fame instead of going to AEW? So it's not like WWE are totally morally okay.
No.
As, when are they ever?
Yes.
But Matt presumably said, no, Tony Khan, don't worry. I've been talking to my brother. He did those Twitch streams. When the real story comes out of that night when Jeff walked out of the WWE match, you'll see that it's not a substance abuse issue. And now this has happened.
Yeah, it's a shame because at the time as well, the drug tests, this is just a claim from Matt Hardy, but they did the drug test in WWE and they came back fine. So seemingly that erratic behavior wasn't linked to substance abuse, but that is the word of Matt Hardy, who's been vouching for Jeff. So we don't know if that is necessarily true, and we don't know if WWE's angle is correct, that they offered rehab and then he rejected it and then he got released. We don't know really any of the details going on here, and all of this seems like a very murky situation.
So that wasn't the only match Jeff Hardy was scheduled to be in. Of course, tomorrow's Road Rager, AEW Road Rager. Oh God, is it called Road Rager?
Yeah.
I never put those two together.
Oh, that's not good.
Jesus.
Whoops.
Well, that's just a very unfortunate coincidence.
Yeah.
But Jeff Hardy is no longer on that special show. He was meant to be in the show's main event, a three-way ladder match with the Hardys versus the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. As of this recording, AEW have not put out a statement. We don't know what their response is going to be. It's weird that they haven't put out a statement, but they are also very sensitive around personnel issues.
Yes.
Even CM Punk's injury. I don't think AEW have come out and said, he's got a broken foot. Max Caster has made that joke in a rap, but AEW has not disclosed a private individual's injury. Tony Khan's always very good with that. I have sympathy with them in this regard, that they haven't put out a statement, because I think protecting the person involved's mental state probably takes superiority.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other match that we don't know what's going on with, the Wrestling Observer have pointed out, is Triple Mania this Saturday. The main event of Triple Mania, which is Triple A's biggest show of the year, really, that annual cluster F that is Triple A's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Matt and Jeff Hardy were meant to be taking on Dragon Lee and Dralistico. But speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Triple A apparently want to keep Matt Hardy in the match, and they're going to try and find another partner for him, but as of right now, there's not someone they have, so they're trying to work on a deal. So it looks like Hardy is pulled from this weekend show as well.
If they can find another person to tag with Matt Hardy, I think that's a really good substitution for that, rather than taking both the Hardys out, because it feels like Matt is then being punished for what Jeff has done, which is not quite fair on him. I hope they do manage to find that person. I have no idea who they would put in this position. Yes, Ollie.
Question! It's a really good idea, thank you, for thematic TLC vibes.
Sure.
But there is a much larger wrestling political landscape at play. Did you hear that Andrade was pulled from Forbidden Door because New Japan see Andrade as a AAA guy, when really...
I think he has some sort of deal with AAA, as well as AEW. Like, he's got his AEW contract, which also allows him to work with... And it's not like he's an AEW guy making appearances, but he's allowed to actually, like, sign with AAA in some...
You know who, when I think of in AEW, when I think of sort of AAA representation, I think of the AAA Tag Team Champions FTR. They're in the Forbidden Door show. How are New Japan, like, they've got the belts. They're right there.
They'll just come out with the Ring of Honor ones instead.
Yeah.
Leave those AAA ones in the back.
Yeah, because New Japan are affiliated with CMLL, and they're very much against AAA because it's the way these alliances work. That was always the thing that was sort of keeping that Forbidden Door closed. So it's weird that's the hill they've decided to die on New Japan.
Very,
no
very
Andrade. Booker T has waged in on the Jeff Hardy situation because, of course, he has.
That's what he likes to do. He likes to comment on things.
Shall I read you what he said on his
Please
podcast?
do.
What's his podcast called?
Shucky Ducky Quack Quack. I have no idea.
Anyway, he said, I've seen comments already saying AEW didn't put the drink in his hand, he's talking about Jeff here, and didn't put the keys in his hand to make him drive. Yeah, they didn't, but I think AEW has some responsibility to bear, because you go back and look at the compilation of death-defying dives Jeff Hardy has pulled off since arriving in AEW, and I'm going to tell you right there, that pain comes along with that. When you've got pain, a lot of times you will go and drink or take drugs to numb the pain, and therefore, damn it, I just relapsed. Did he try to do that? Probably not. That's what people with addiction do, so they do have some responsibility to bear here.
It's not very often that I agree with Booker T, but I do kind of agree with him here. It feels like people have said in Jeff Hardy's run, poor Jeff Hardy. You know, when this ladder match that he was supposed to be in at Road Rager, when that announcement came out, people went, oh my god, Jeff in another ladder match? After what came out with him in the Derby ladder match, after what happened with a Double or Nothing when he got his bell rung and seemingly wasn't okay coming out of that, to then book him in another ladder match, maybe there is some sort of argument to be made that he's been put in too many ladder matches or stuff with really high spots too quickly in AEW, because he was doing some of that stuff in WWE, but they'd be months apart. You know, it would give him his body time to recover before he did another huge spot. There has been a lot of them very quickly in AEW.
I think when we look back on certain parts of Jeff's career, it's like, oh, I thought he was doing better, and he's relapsed, you know, in sort of a few of the last WWE run. Other ones, you can look back and see very clear, weird bits of behavior building up to it, like Victory Road with TNA. And this one, you look back at the last month of Jeff Hardy's stuff, like you've said, and you're like, I'm not saying one directly caused the other, but they are at least correlated.
You'd think so anyway, especially because it's stuff like this, because there's been so many stories in the wrestling industry of people struggling with addiction and substance abuse and stuff, and a lot of those people, even Jeff's brother Matt, a lot of those reasons that he has said himself has been to deal with pain, and because he's been putting his body through so much, and wrestling in the past especially was really tough on people's bodies, and to cope with that, that's what they did. So I think Booker T's speaking from a place of experience and his wealth of knowledge in the wrestling industry. I think he's got a very legitimate point here.
Well, let's finish on a bit of fun stuff. Impact Wrestling. Although they are bringing back something else from their past.
Oh no.
This weekend isn't just Triple Mania, it's also Slammiversary. And they have just announced for that show, they're bringing back one of the most laughable concepts in wrestling history. It's the Reverse Battle Royal. Can you remember how the Reverse Battle Royal works?
Well, unfortunately for you, I already looked at this today, a little bit earlier. Luke tried to then explain it to me afterwards. I still didn't understand, because you start outside the ring, you then get inside the ring, and the first 7 people that get inside the ring, everyone else is eliminated. The 7 people that are then in the ring then have a normal battle royal, but when it gets down to the last 2 people, they have a singles match. Like, why would you do that? Obviously, the concept is inherently stupid because you have people fighting outside the ring and pretending that they can't get inside the ring, when getting inside the ring is really easy.
One of my favourite things about the Reverse Battle Royal is when it was first done, you were then entered into another match on next week's episode of TV to win the thing that was it called the Fight for the Right tournament? I think I'm getting a lot of things mixed up here.
Almost certainly. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments, please, what you think of this new format we're trying. We're trying to get the quicker turnaround time, more reactive news to you quicker. It's amazing and great, etc. And also go check out the other WrestleTalk news video that went up today, talking about, we had Luke's Raw review, talking about more about the Jeff Hardy situation, etc. Go check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in another video soon. Subscribe, like the video. Goodbye.